guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the part 2 of the vlog that I've done on Monday. In this little clip you will see different figures and different gaits as well. I did try to canter her by myself. We did a bit of figure 8, change of lead, and all kinds of different things that might be a little bit interesting for you guys. My objective that weekend was definitely to just push her a little harder. We've definitely taught her well over the past month and a half, but I was really determined to know exactly how much we could push her and what she can accomplish. So it was just a little test. I did not push her overboard, but I just wanted to assess where she was at, and she did really good. I was really proud of her. So in this part, she's a little bit more tired. Obviously we had the lunch before everything, and then we also had a good kind of warm-up session before that. So she's starting to be a little bit more tired, so I do give her a little bit more walking break, especially when she does something well. So right before this, she offered a nice extended trot that I was really pleased with. So I'm just bending her on one side, bending her on the other, just to kind of work on her suppleness, make sure that she's very supple and she's still paying attention to what I'm asking her to do, and at the same time getting her to kind of relax and lower her head a little bit. So I really like to come at the barn prepared, meaning that I have something that I have in mind that I want to accomplish. Would it be one point or another? At least I give myself usually 2 objectives, so like that's easier to remember what they are and also to work on them. So I think that works fine for us. But I always come with something in mind. So like I said, in this one I'm trying to assess where she's at, and I'm also working on pushing her into the corners and bending her a little bit more, as we did have a little bit of issues in the last lesson where one side was a little stickier than the other when it came to bending and keeping a nice shape. So she had a fairly good transition between the walk and the trot here, and her trot is being pretty good. It's pretty well cadenced, has a nice rhythm to it, and her head is exactly at the right place. So far so good. So just pay attention to how extended the trot is here. It's beautiful, nice extended trot that she's offering here. I'm really happy, and she's also lowering her head a lot more, which is good. It's always good to get her to reach a little bit more downwards rather than upwards. So I'm still working here, doing a little bit of half halt here and there to try to get her head like more settled. As I see, it's going up and down, but the rhythm is amazing. It's really good. It's really consistent. So working on straightness here, it's a little harder, just because we've been working her so hard on a 20-meter circle, 10-meter circles. She has a tendency to want to basically turn in circles, and that's why she's not as straight as I want her to be. But we've worked that in this lesson this week, and I will definitely be working on her straightness a little bit more this upcoming weekend. So stay tuned for that if you want to see how I work her on the straightness standpoint. So on this side, the straightness is definitely better. There's always a good side and not a bad side, but there's always a side that's easier for them to do and the other side that's a little bit harder, and that's totally fine. We just gotta work on the side that's a little harder to make it as smooth as the other, and you'll have a horse that's gonna be 100% good on both sides, and that's amazing. So I am working her a little bit on that, and also trying to get her to pay attention a little bit to me. There's a lot of noise in the background, which you won't be hearing, but there's a lot of people, talking and doing all kinds of stuff, as well as the door being open. So it's really good to get her to keep focus on me and what I'm asking her to do, and so far she's doing pretty good. Her head is a little high, but it will happen regardless, right? We're still learning here. So that was also a nice downward transition from trot to walk. As you can see here, Hazel's fuming a little bit and spitting, which is fine. Like, she does have a lot of saliva because she is taking onto the bit and being a little bit more relaxed in her mouth, and that's totally fine. So still at the walk here, we're giving her a little break after good work, but also working on some straightness as well at the walk at this time here. So the walking breaks, if you will, are also times to improve on things that sometimes you have an issue doing at different gaits. So I really like to kind of keep on working, even though it's a more relaxed gait, and you know, it's not like just drop the reins and just let it go. It's really more of a time to pause, collect yourself, your thoughts, and try to improve things little by little. So that's what I'm doing here. Just testing up. As you can see here, Hazel's curious about what's going on outside, but she kept on going, so that's really good. So here I decide to just do some straightness at the walk. It's definitely easier for me to control the straightness at the walk compared to the trot, for sure, but it's just to see how she's doing with the walk here. As you can see, we went off center and slowly went inward, so it's not completely straight still, and that might be a mistake on my part. It would be easier for me to go straight if I knew exactly, like if I would put in my head like a focal point, so it's easier to go from A to B type of thing. So here we're just picking up a nice trot. Once again, nice transition here. Really smooth. Like, her head barely went up. Like, she used to go like way up. Like, her head used to like basically be all jerky every single different like gait that you're asking her to pick. So it's definitely much better, more collected, a little bit yeah, a little bit more proper, if you will. So really important, as I said in the first part of the video, it's really important to work your horse on both sides. So if you take one lead, would it be the left or the right, it's always nice to do the opposite as well, just so you work the brain of the horse on the other side as well as their body. Of course, you want to have symmetry in the muscle, the way they're like formed and built. So you don't want to work your horse only on their good side or what they're, you know, really good at. You really want to work on both sides. So that's what I'm doing here at the trot. She's doing actually good on this side. This is the side that she's a little bit weaker on, and she's doing pretty good. Like, her head is not like, it's pretty steady. So I'm pretty pleased with what I see here. The trot could be a little bit more extended though, but that is it would be from my part, like, to ask her to just like put herself a little bit more forward and lean a little bit more forward, basically. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. So we went to extend into more collected trot here. She's doing pretty good. It could be a little bit more collected, if you will, but for what we're working on right now, it's actually quite good. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Since I have the arena to myself, I really like to explore and try to do different kind of figures because I have all the room in the world. So I decided to just do a couple circles on the same lead at this end of the arena here, so you guys could see a little bit closer what it looks like, which is pretty good. So it's kind of nice to just have fun a little bit, right? And just change corners, do different figures and things like that. So you want to make it interesting for you and for the horse too, right? So here I'm attempting to do a spiral, so I will try to go from a bigger circle to a smaller, tighter circle as I go around here, and that's what I'm doing. Went in a little bit inward, a little bit to the circle, and then I decided to work on her extended trot a little bit more, just because I wasn't totally satisfied when I was at the other end of the arena. This one is definitely much better, way more extended. Those legs are going forward, and that's exactly what I want to feel, I want to see. So I'm really pleased with that as well. That's really good. So now that I have a good feel, I'm gonna try again to do this like spiraling kind of circles here. So I'm gonna try to go a little bit more inward and see where it leads and if it's working. Definitely the bend of it, the circles is getting a little bit better. She's definitely like, her head is definitely more forward than I want it to be. But I guess at the time I didn't really feel like her nose was peeking up. I felt just a connection in the bit, and I felt good about it. Probably this week I'll work on just putting her a little bit tighter, I guess, around her frame here, and working her a little bit more collected. So another walk transition, and then I'll do a lead change. Yeah, so at this point I'm really trying to get her to almost touch the ground with her nose, if you will. She wants to pick up her head that high. Like, I'm asking her to lower it a little bit more, but she wants to keep it up. Like, she's always ready to go for the next step. So I tried a couple times to just get her to just put it all the way down and just relax a little bit. She's definitely relaxed, but I just want her to stretch a little bit more. As I mentioned in part 1 of this video, I have tried my best to just keep this video at the regular speed, if you will. I'm not fast forwarding it, just for you guys to see what it actually looks like and have a good feel of, you know, what her walk looks like, what her trot looks like, the time that we spend on X or Y, so you guys have it like in actual real time. It's not fast forward. So feel free to like go up and back and forward in the video if you want to see different things. But yeah, so I just try to keep it like really nice. I'm trying something new. If you guys like it, please give me a thumbs up and let me know if you would like this this setting a little bit better, rather than trying to jam all the action into one video. So preparing here to pick up a trot, grabbing my reins, and this once again was a smooth transition. Like, the head didn't go like upward or anything like that, no head tossing, so that's pretty good. And I decided to make my circles a little bit bigger because I want her to lean a little bit more forward. I realized that some of my circles that I did previously were actually a little tight, so I'm trying to get her to exactly lower her head exactly like that, and she just needed a little bit extra room to kind of get that together. So now that I have a good feel under the saddle and in my hands, I'm gonna try to just change leads, doing like kind of a figure 8 here. So trying to change my posting diagonal as I'm actually going around the other side, and also changing the bend in the horse. So far so good. It gets smoother over time. Definitely we have to work on it, but it's kind of the first time that we do it together on working on those specific points. So I'm pretty pleased with what it did. I will definitely work that in the future as well. It was quite fun to do as well too, so quite enjoyable. So I had a feeling this one was actually a little bit smoother than the first one, and I know with practice and time it definitely is gonna get like smoother and smoother, and eventually I'll be able to ask her to do some lead changes, and that's gonna be awesome, like flying changes, and that will be really, really good. just take a moment here to just take a look at the extended trot and how well she's actually doing it this time. Around she kind of got the gist of it. With the figure 8, at least it forces them to really become a little bit more elongated, especially in the front legs, to reach a little bit more forward, and I really like the aesthetic of it. As an extended trot, it really looks good. So a downward transition here. It's not bad. I mean, it's smooth. It's not that bad. She did really good. One of the things that I really like about my horse is that she really works hard, and she really wants to please. She will work with you until you're satisfied. Basically, she won't give up on you. She's always there, and I really like this attitude. And now that we've coupled it with also a little bit more of a willingness, like a little bit more of a workable willingness, should I say, it's definitely like epic. Every time I have a ride, it's just like brings me straight into the stars. Like, it's just really a nice feeling under saddle. She's very smooth, and she works so hard, and it pays off like really quick, which I'm like, honestly, I'm beyond happy with that, just because it makes it so much more enjoyable. Like, the small quick fixes that we do here and there definitely eventually add up, and it's an amazing sight to see. So get ready for some action. We're actually going to introduce the canter. I've introduced it in my previous lesson, but I just want to touch base and try to see how we can work on this gait here. And look how amazingly she picked up that canter. She did really good. She was a little bit forward, like obviously she's a thoroughbred, so she definitely wants to go fast. But I was able to kind of pace her down a little bit, and it's not that bad of a canter. Definitely needs some work, especially on the bend. But other than that, like, at least she's giving her whole heart doing it, and every single turn is definitely better than the next here. So quite pleased with it. So she did good here. She doesn't have the endurance, like her core is not strong enough to do a lot of it, but you know, it's like a bit like going to the gym. So if you do a little bit of repetitions here and there, eventually it's gonna get strong enough so we can go a little longer and then longer every single time. But for a horse that doesn't have like a hard or big core strength, like, she's still picking herself up really nicely. And I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in about like maybe 4 weeks from now or 6 weeks from now, when she is actually a bit more toned into her core. I think the canter is gonna be breathtaking, so stay tuned for that. So as she's catching her breath here, I take advantage of the opportunity here to get her to work a little bit more laterally too, and just get her to supple up and do something a little bit different. And as you can see, she did really good. We haven't worked on this specific move, if you will, in about, I don't know, it's been ages since we worked on it, but she does amazing. Like, she always remembers, and that's something that's also amazing with this horse, is that she learns really quick and she remembers. So I think I think it must have been at least six months or even more, 6 to 8 months that we haven't even done this, and she's doing it really well. So doing some side passes, it's now time to get back to work here. And now she's supple, and she will pretty much let me do anything, so it's really good. Her head is as soft as like jello or rubber, if you will. Really easy, really malleable, really good. So we're gonna try to canter on this lead as well here and see what happens. Once again, this one is a little bit more rocky. Like I said, this side is not her best side, if you will, so it's the side that we have to work a little harder. But on the other side of it, she's pushing hard with those legs. Like, she's doing a fairly decent job at propulsing herself forward. She feels like it feels really forward under saddle. So if you're like a rider, like you have blazing wind in your face, like for how powerful her canter actually is. Like, she pushes hard with those back legs, and she definitely has a lot of muscle there to propulse you like both forward. So that's the feel that you have when you're at the canter, especially on that side. One of the things that I've noticed is that she does not bend as good, like especially like at the trot is fine, but at the canter you can really notice that she had a hard time bending. And after talking with my coach this week, I think my Hazel's head was basically not at the right place. So when I asked her to canter, it was just harder for me to control the bend of her body. So that's something I'll be working on this weekend and see if I can get that right this time. But every time is always a little better, right? So. So as she got a little heated up with the canter here, I'm trying to relax her a little bit, get her to supple, and I'm doing a nice figure 8 lead change, and that will force her eventually to kind of slow down, focus, and pay attention. And I'm also doing a little bit of half halts here. So the transition wasn't that bad to the walk, and see, she wanted to stretch her neck down a little bit more. Now she's getting really tired at this point. But she's still a trooper, like she's still right there. Like I said, this horse will never give up on you. Like, she would take a bullet or two for you and never give up on you. So that's what's good about it, but you also have to know their limits. So yeah, I'm thinking of just cooling her down at this point, because she did really good for all like hard I basically pushed her, and she did really good. She responded good. She pretty much did everything I asked. So it's time to get her to cool down a little bit, see if she has any more energy that I might want to go and explore, but if not, just give her a nice relaxation. So after good relaxation time, it's time for us to pick up a trot, and I will just be working with her on the bend, so bending a little bit more, and also to tuck her head a little bit more in. I just had this like last minute idea, I guess, to just work on these 2 points quickly before we end the session for today. So as I'm working on different things, I am also thinking about what kind of questions I want to ask my coach for the upcoming week. and I had a question I wanted to ask her basically about cannering, and so I will just do my final little checkups here and there and testing before I let her go, just so I have exactly in my head the feeling that I had and what question I want to ask. But as you can see here, going full force into a nice canner, a short one, just to kind of get the idea in my head as to what question I want to ask, and just a good feel of, you know, exactly what I felt at what point, and things like that. So these are things I like to do just to make sure that at least I ask the questions that I have to ask, and it keeps Hazel on her toes. So she's an awesome horse, so she did really good. So working on getting her to back up a little bit. It's always nice. We've practiced that, I think, was it first or second lesson, and I don't think we've done it ever since that lesson, so it's nice to just work on your basics too. And we're still cooling down. This is pretty much going to be really the end of the video. I don't want to push her that much more. I just want to do different things and let her cool off pretty good, so that's what we're doing here. So I'll let you guys admire her muscle mass. She's very muscular, and you'll see like there's not a lot of veins popping out, like she's not overly heated or whatever. She just had a nice good workout, and then she's gonna have a nice treat, and then I'll put her to bed for the day. So you guys can admire this muscle mass working here. Yeah, that backup wasn't the best, and you'll see I will do another one again. So for people that are wondering, it does take a while to cool down a horse, especially at this time of year. I would say pretty much all year long, but it does take a while. It's like when you go to the gym and you work out really like a lot intensely, and then right after you have to either shower or do something like that. Like, it's just to kind of lower your like heart rate. It's the same thing for the horse, so you really want to do that nicely and softly, and you want their heart rate to go low, but also to kind of stretch their muscle a little bit, and get them to cool gradually. You could definitely like hose their legs or do other things, but because it's cold at this time of year, I'm not doing like anything afterwards. Like, I'm gonna make sure she's dry, like she doesn't have any sweat on her. Give her a good curry comb action, that gives her a massage, and of course like just gets rid of all this sweat marks and all that stuff, and then I'll just put a nice blanket over it and then call it a day. So if that's my plan, I have to make sure that she is really like cool down. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, spending extra time making sure that happened, and she's not like a sweaty mess when I'm done with the actual session here. So please let me know if you guys enjoyed this format of video. It's definitely the full footage. So you had the part 1 and the part 2, which is pretty much all the footage that I've took over the weekend when I went to the barn. It makes it a longer video, and the horse is not fast forward. So if you guys like this format, please let me know. Or if you'd rather have the old format, which is kind of the best moments cropped here and there, as well as fast forward bits. But it's just, yeah, I just thought I would try something new. Let me know your thoughts. I would definitely love to hear them. Here we're just waiting and letting a new horse come in. We're pretty much done for today, so it's just as we were walking around just to stop and wait until they're set somewhere, and we will be able to dismount safely and call it a day. So as a new rider is coming in the arena, it just basically signals that it will be the end of our session for today. And also Hazel and I are both exhausted. It was a great session. I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing all kinds of things I do with my horse, and also what I work on when I'm done a lesson. So you had the actual lesson in the vlog prior, and the outcome. So what I took of it and worked on from that previous lesson. So hope that you guys enjoyed this kind of format, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye for now.